Hey, I'm your host, Marissa Panay. Welcome to Your Brand is Showing, the podcast for service providers who are tired of blending in and wondering why no matter how much you market your business, you're still not attracting the clients you want. Spoiler, it all comes back to your brand. So let's make sure your brand is saying the right thing to the right people so you can finally create content that truly connects. If you want to create content that makes your brand memorable, if you want to create content that makes your brand stand out, if you want to be remembered, you need to stop scrolling and start living, okay? I don't know who needs to hear this, but your best content ideas are never going to come from endlessly scrolling. Okay, so I know that right now you think you're scrolling for inspiration. You're not. The scroll is not going to give you inspiration. It's going to give you comparison because you're going to be like, oh, wow, I wish I could edit like this. Or, oh, wow, why didn't I think of this? Or, oh, wow, this seems like such a good idea. I feel like I might have said this before, but they said it so much better. All you're going to do is start comparing yourself to what's already out there. And then in turn, your inspiration, quote, quote, is just going to be you copying or regurgitating something that you've already seen on your feed. And copying or regurgitating or coming up with something that's already in existence is not how you're going to get a brand that makes people go, wow, this is so unique and this is so exactly what I need. We don't need to see the same thing over and over again. I will be the first one to tell you that good content always comes from living, lived experiences, engaging with life. Put your damn phone down, turn off the Wi-Fi, whatever it is. Go outside, go for a run, go for a walk, spend time with your friends, spend time with your family. When you stop thinking about your business, when you truly say disconnect and you try to live your life outside of business owner brain, that is when the best pieces of content are going to come up. Because have you ever noticed when you're falling asleep or you're in the shower, that's when you're like, oh my God, I need to grab my notes app ASAP because I have this brilliant idea that I need to go dive into right now, but I'm not going to because disconnected. When you stop forcing content to come up, that is when the content's going to hit. Now, I've been in the exact same situation where you're like, oh, I have to create a post or I haven't shown up in a while and I'm behind in my content. But those times when you're trying to force content, that is when you come up with a content that feels ick. Those are when you start quote unquote scrolling for inspiration, but you end up just scrolling to compare yourself to everything out there while simultaneously trying to squish yourself into a mold that other people have already created. If you're already seeing what's out there, you end up thinking that's what you have to become, and that's whack. Nobody wants another copycat version of something they've already seen. They want you, your voice, your perspective, your weird stories, your hot takes. And in my own content, proof is in the pudding, okay? The best received pieces without fail, whether it was on Instagram, whether it was on newsletters, it has been something that I have thought up on a run, a hike, a walk with my dog, or the real life situations that I then translated into a storytelling moment to make a point. And if you've been following my content for some time now, I'm sure the big dick in a kayak story, the demon dude on the snowboarding trip, or any of my dead brother club pieces probably come to mind, and you probably thought of those and you're like, oh, well, no one else has shared some weird shit like this, so it sticks in. This is something that Marissa created, right? But regardless, those posts, those ideas never came from scrolling. They came from living life and then connecting those experiences back to business lessons. But beyond the fact that you don't want to become a copycat brand, let's talk about why these personal stories actually matter for making your brand you, right? And it's not just because they're entertaining. There's actually a psychological concept called the liking principle. And that is basically saying that people prefer to say yes and they choose those that they like. And so this is the important part, is one of those biggest factors in liking people is similarity. So when you share those real life moments from your experiences, let's say you spilled coffee all over yourself before going on to a really important Zoom meeting, you're creating those similarity markers, or what they're called, which are basically little flags signaling, saying, hey, we're kind of the same person. And what's cool is that when someone thinks, oh my God, same, or we have a relatable moment, they're not just feeling seen, their brain is actually building trust with you on autopilot. So we inherently trust people who we perceive to be like us. So if you ever run into somebody that has a similar trait as you or a similar interest, oh, we listen to the same weird music, that's a little point of connection. And this is because it's hardwired into our survival instincts from thousands of years ago when we recognized our quote unquote tribe, because that's what kept us alive, right? So let's think about this in real life terms. So let's say you met someone at a networking event and you both discover you have rescue dogs, and then you also both hate the same TV show everyone else loves, or you both have the same weird coffee order. What typically happens in those situations? usually it's an instant connection. It's like, oh my God. And then you start feeling like you know them longer than you've actually have. Your conversations flow easier because there's this point of connection, and it just feels so much better. And that is the exact same dynamic that's happening with your content when you start weaving in these personal moments and sharing these stories, because you're allowing for these connections to happen. And those genuine connections are what transform followers into future clients, in case you couldn't figure that out. And better yet, this is why it's so important for your brand to accurately reflect you, the service provider, because if your brand is off kilter from who you are, then it's going to be harder to weave these stories into your content because there's going to be a disconnect. The thing you have to remember when it comes to your brand and your content is that when it's time to hire someone, people aren't just evaluating your skills. They're evaluating how comfortable they feel with you. And they feel the most comfortable with people they perceive as similar to themselves. But another note on top of all of this is if you're not excited to create your content, your audience is not going to be excited to consume it, okay? And I know a lot of you right now are approaching content creation as like I have to do this, or I have to get to this post count in a week situation. And that dread is actually coming through loud and clear in your content. It's giving, I wrote this because some marketing guru told me I had to post 3 times a week, but I fucking hate a gun to my head, right? So what's the solution? Don't create because you have to stay consistent, because you're gonna burn out. You're gonna start resenting the business you love. And please just go live a little, okay? Take a break. You deserve it. Turn your phone off, or at least put it in the car when you go out for a walk. Just have some damn fun, make some memories, and enjoy your life outside of business. Because let me tell you, the most powerful thing you can do for your brand isn't to post more content. It's to create better content that actually sounds like you, content that builds those similarity bridges between you and your dream clients. When someone resonates with your content enough times, we feel like we know you even though we've never met you. And your audience starts to trust you because they've seen the real you and identified with you in social aspects. They've laughed with you. They've nodded along to your stories. They thought, oh my God, same, more times than they can count. And that kind of trust, you can't fake that. And you can't definitely build it by copying what everyone else is doing. So here's your homework for this episode is just try to unplug, try to stop looking at social media. If you need to create more content, do not look at your phone. If you need more content, go live your life. That is the simplest thing I can say, because if your brand aligns with who you are as a service provider, those stories are going to work seamlessly into your content. So go live your life, jot down any random thoughts or observations you have. Like I did this literally the other day at the gym. I was at a full stop for content. I had no idea what to create. And I am on the treadmill thinking about how I need to create content and I don't know what to do. And then all of a sudden, this really smelly dude walked in next to me. And then all these people started leaving. And so my brain was like, oh, smelly dude, people are leaving. That's customer experience. How can I make a post that relates this back to customer experience? And like, that is the thing, is like your brain, your business brain is never truly off as a business owner. I get that. I 100% get that. So you're going to see similarities and you're going to see things through the eyes as a business owner that are completely unrelated to your actual business. So if you were doing something and you were like, ha, LOL, wouldn't this be funny if, take those LOLs, take those wouldn't it be funny ifs, put it in your notes app. And then that way, when you're going to create content for your business, you have all these stories, you have this like archive to pull from of references and things that you can refer back to. And you don't have to build the content right there. Continue living your life. Come back on a day when it's content creation day and do it then. So go live your life, take some notes, see what happens, create some content based on it, and let me know how it goes, because I want to see those posts, because those are always the best posts. So tag me so I can see it at panay.marketing, and good luck.